Okay, great. Okay, thanks, and welcome everybody. What we're going to do this, I wish, and thanks Bonnie for setting this up, and I wish more companies did this. This is a great idea just to get the team together. This is not a very complicated thing at all, and I'm just going to run through a few slides. The thing that it does, what this does for everyone is kind of clarifies how you use this and when to use it, et cetera, that kind of thing. So that's what I really want to accomplish out of this. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to give you kind of the high-level view of the TSANet organization. We'll talk about the membership levels and relationships, and I want to talk a little bit about custom groups and things like that because you may get involved in those. How you place a call to another member, how to select the best relationship, and things you need to know before you call, and how you escalate. Everything you need to know to engage another partner through this organization. And we talk a little bit about case exchange and knowledge exchange. These are other areas that we're getting into just to kind of let you know where the organization is headed. Let's see. So something a little bit different about us. We are set up as a not-for-profit organization, and we were created back in 1993. So over 20 years ago, with the whole purpose behind this was to be able to create a mechanism for the industry to be able to engage and collaborate with each other. And the idea and the concept was, let's not make it so hard. You got to go get the lawyers involved and go through all these legal agreements. So basically what we have done as an organization is we've got all the major IT companies' legal teams to agree to what a confidentiality statement, for example, looks like. So we've got this base set of paperwork, and what that does is allow you to create relationships really easily. And then on the tactical side of things, we create an infrastructure, which I'm going to show you, that shows you how do you engage another member. It's kind of like a directory. Well, it is a directory, right, of engagement processes that allow you to engage and escalate with other partners, as long as there's this common customer involved in it. We'll talk about that a little bit. So that's what the organization is. I actually I've been with it since it started in '93. I work for a board of directors that is elected by the members, and that's the way that not-for-profits are set up. And we have a small global staff. And there's actually several hundred members, and you'll see that as we get into a little bit more of it. But be aware, I think that one of the things that you should look at is that for a lot of companies, TSANet is the way they do relationships, and it could be not just this big open group that we're going to talk about, but it could be a custom group for a particular set of products and things like that. What they'll do is set it up as a custom group. So there's different membership levels. You all are global basic, okay? And what that means is you will have the ability to look at other companies that are part of the basic TSANet, okay? And this is what we call a big open group. So it becomes a many-to-many relationship where you will be able to engage and collaborate with everybody else that's in that group as long as there is a mutual customer involved. Okay, now what that usually means, and we let the customers or the members define this, but it typically is going to mean that if there is a mutual TrendMicro customer and you're calling another partner, that customer is going to need to have some kind of entitlement with that company that you're calling. And it works the other way around. TrendMicro may receive a call. Well, it should involve a TrendMicro customer. Okay, so there is a premium TSANet. You all don't participate in that. That's okay. It's really just a subset of the basic TSANet. So you will have access to this big group, and I'll show you how that works as well. Okay, the other thing, and this kind of goes into a little bit of this custom group thing, I think there's a couple things that are kind of brewing right now between yourselves and other TSANet members. And so just be aware that there are other groups that may be much more strategic in nature, or it could be surrounded around a particular product or product set, that these are what we call custom groups. And they could be hosted by, for example, here, one company. Like we have a one-to-one with EMC, or it could be a hosted group to where it's one-to-many, as you see over here on on the partner side of things, or it could be a many-to-many group. So we're a relationship infrastructure. Just be aware of that. Okay, and before we do this, we're not going to go to key takeaways. What we're going to do is we're going to pull up the website so you can see this. So let me pull this over, and I'm logged in as one of the users. So we'll work out how you get in here. And Bonnie, what we might want to do is just set up everybody individually, or we can use group logins, whatever we want to do, right? But
Okay.
but here's the bottom line, right? You're going to get into this database one way or another. And it might be through an encrypted URL, or your people could get in through group logins and all sorts of things. But you'll get in here, and you notice what I did in this space up here. This is going to be empty when you first get logged in, and I'll show you how you can put a tile up there. But this is your My TSANet space, and I put up Microsoft in the Americas just as an example here. But if you scroll down a little bit, what you see is this member directory. And I'm going to click on My Relationships so it pulls up just the companies, and there are a lot of them, right? Probably, I think we're over 100 now in the basic TSANet that you will be able to engage. Okay, so you can see all these different companies. Now, if you get into a custom group, there might be multiple relationships that you have. I'm going to use Microsoft as an example here because everybody likes to pick on Microsoft. So, but if I go here, the other thing that you're going to see is not only is it going to pull up these tiles, but you'll note the way that Microsoft has this set up is by support center. So if it was a customer that you needed to contact Microsoft in the Americas, then you would contact that support center, obviously China, EMEA, whatever it happens to be. I'm going to go ahead and use the Americas support center site. So to give you an example, but really all you do then is then click on this tile, and now what Microsoft is telling you is, okay, this, under the basic TSANet rules, this is how I want to be engaged. And this is what we call a process or a contact document. It's broken down into 3 sections. There's the first part of it is, what information does Microsoft want me to collect about our mutual customer before you call? So if you're looking for another company, and before you engage that company, you probably want to go into the database and take a look and see, because it could be a customer number or whatever it happens to be, find out what information you need, and then you can go back to the customer and say, hey, look, Mr. Customer, you don't need to start this process all over again. I can engage Microsoft for you. I just need a little information, or I can engage Citrix or whoever it happens to be. So this first part is going to be before you call, what information do you need to collect? And then the second, which is the meat of this whole thing, is how do you contact this company, right? In Microsoft's case, in the Americas, they're giving you an 800 number, and the rest of these instructions are all important. And then down here, what they're giving you is a code, and that's basically going to get you into Microsoft support. Okay, and they're going to want to know, okay, well, there is a mutual customer between us, right? Who is that customer? And then down at the bottom, you're always going to have an escalation. And that would be a contact that if this doesn't work, this gets really beyond out of control, and you guys know what escalation is. I have to tell you that, right? Then you've got an escalation contact for the company, and you can get a hold of them. You can also contact TSANet as an escalation point, and my job is to make sure that everybody is working together as they said they would. I really get very few escalations, and primarily it's because there's always a mutual customer involved. Okay, so that's what this is all about, and I'm giving you a little bit of contrast here. We're changing the TSANet database. We kind of went through a major rework of it, and we're getting ready to do another one. And one of those enhancements is up here where we've got this little icon. That's kind of like the home button, and we'll fix that in the next version coming out. But if you click on that, it'll take you back here, and I'm just going to show you how to put up a tile. I'm going to use IBM as an example. Or is there, Bonnie, is there somebody else I should use as an example that you typically would engage?
Can we try VMware? This is Jill. I also have a
VMware.
question.
VMware.
Yeah.
Another
So
go ahead. Sorry.
if we file a case in here, does it get tracked anywhere? Like our conversations with the support, are we given a case number through here, or is that all through email?
So this used to be a simple answer. okay? And
Okay.
and I'll give it to you the way it is, right? The fact is, the way the call flow is going to work here is you typically would, if you're calling VMware, you would have already worked this issue and you would have already have something in your CRM system because you didn't know when the call came in you were going to engage them, right? When you engage VMware, they're probably going to track it in their system and give you a ticket number. So does TSANet give you another ticket number? No, we don't. Now, what makes it a little bit more complicated is that we have introduced this thing called case exchange. And what it does is it does give you the ability for you to track it and engage another partner without ever leaving your CRM system. And it's a little bit different topic. You guys are not involved in that right now, but you're going to see some things coming down the line that that you'll actually, the engagement process that you see here will actually let you open up a ticket in their CRM system. So I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, so for VMware cases is you need to file a case with them first and then involve TSANet.
Well, no. You can engage them directly through here, right?
Oh, okay.
And then when you talk to them, and let's look at the instructions, okay? And this is one of these custom groups. You guys are what we call TAP partners, okay? So what they've done is they've set up a different relationship set of instructions for their TAP members. So if you go here now, this is going to take you to a microsite, give you a little bit more definition of when to use it. But here at the Collaborate button, right? This is that same document saying from a VMware perspective, this is what you need to know. And my guess is that what they're doing is telling you to call a number.
Okay.
So then they're going to work the issue, and I don't know this for sure, but my guess is they're going to give you their incident number so that you can track it in your CRM system.
Okay.
That help? Does that answer the question?
Yeah. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. Well, also partly I have a follow-up question. So what if you don't really have a customer and you just have a question? Do you go through TSANet or just go through normal VMware cases?
You know, we're an organization, okay, and you can call them. I will tell you my official answer to that is that if there is not a mutual customer involved, that TSANet in this basic relationship isn't necessarily the avenue for you to go through, right?
Got
now,
it. Okay.
A lot of companies, I say that the caveat to that is a lot of companies in the basic TSANet are very open to engaging and working with you because it will eventually involve a mutual customer. So what I'm telling you is I'm not saying you shouldn't do it, but I would suggest, and Bonnie will know this, there's program managers and people that you can contact directly and say, hey, this is the issue I got, you know. So
okay.
I say you take it maybe a little bit beyond that process, but the official answer is there's got to be a mutual customer involved.
Jill, I guess we can talk this offline, but from my understanding, we have certain contacts at VMware that Robert may be able to help us with if you only have like a quick question type of case that doesn't have any mutual customer involved. So we do have designated contacts in VMware that we can call.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Then,
sorry, go ahead, Joe.
Well, just out of topic, I just recalled in that tile screen you showed us, as long as the company name has an active link, we can engage them. Like if we have issues with our customer involving Citrix or some other company, we could just simply click on that tile and file a case through TSANet for assistance, right? Okay.
Exactly right. And what I'm going to do here to give you another idea here, see, there's this, so we went to the VMware and we went to the TAP process document, right? So let's say that's something that I might use. I'm going to add this to my dashboard. And now if I go back up here and click on my home page, now that tile is up here. So the way the directory works down here is this is showing you all the TSANet members that we have. There's hundreds of them, right? But you're right. The only ones that you can engage are the ones where there's an active link, or you can click on this My Relationships button. Okay, so let me go back. Anything else, Bonnie, as far as the directory that you think that would be beneficial, or do you think we covered it?
I think we covered it. Any other questions that the other team would like to clarify, or is it clear how to use the TSANet?
This is Alvin. Sure. Yeah, so once we are able to open up a case with the partner using TSANet, so we give them a call on their number, and they gave us their CRM customer case number. Is it possible for us to using the TSANet, do we have any leverage in terms of pushing the other side to provide a faster response time, or do we adhere to their current existing process?
Yeah, very good question. So the answer to that is actually a couple of things. One is in the basic TSANet in the open group that you're a part of, right? And you're also, as you can see here, you're part of some custom groups. Each one of those relationships defines the SLA response. And the response within the basic group, which is where you'll primarily be placing calls, is next business day and a SEV1. But that's more of a minimum criteria. And the reason I say that is because what's going to happen is that you're going to get the same entitlement as if you were the customer, right? So if that customer has a 24/7 agreement, and they've got a half-hour SLA, that's what you're going to get because the call's being logged under the customer's case. Typically, is what will happen, right? So
okay.
It's kind of based on the customer's entitlement. Same way, I think one way to look at that would be, look at it the other way around. What if a call came in from another company that involved a TrendMicro customer, right? How would you handle that? Well, you would probably get back with that customer based on their entitlement, right?
Right.
Right. It's just that another member is calling you on behalf of that customer. Okay.
So usually it's for each of the tiles that appear there. So usually it's the way for us to reach the other side, the other company, is through a phone number. Is there like an escalation contact person for each company?
For every process document, there is an escalation piece down here, right? So if you're eventually going to get to a point where you see this document, and at the bottom of every document is an escalation process or an escalation person.
Okay, got it.
Okay.
So yeah, so just if we're not getting the response that we're expecting, so that's usually the next step that we can take, right? Contact the escalation point.
Absolutely, right? Absolutely.
Okay.
But then kind of back to Jill's point, right? If it was a customer that wasn't entitled, then you shouldn't expect to get an escalation, right?
Right. Yes, that's right.
Yep. Okay.
Okay, yeah, thank you for answering those questions.
Yep, no problem. Let's see. Let me see if I can get back here. We can do this. Actually, here's my last slide, so let me just take you to this. So here's the takeaways out of this, right? You can see it's not a complicated thing, but you really kind of need an understanding about how it works in order to make it useful. We're an organization of members, right? Understand the relationship you're using. Now, in your case, it's either going to be basic TSANet or it's going to be a custom group like TAP or another one that may be coming up. And those custom groups could have a totally different set of elements, and that's something that probably Bonnie and I would work on so she understands the relationship, and then she can pass that down to you guys. The whole point of this is to raise customer satisfaction and minimize that finger pointing. So you get into one of these situations, It's typically, you know, they've already been escalated, and things like that usually involves perhaps a high-level customer, and you want to make sure that, that, you know, this, the point of this is, hey, I can work with this other partner instead of having them start all over again. Okay, and escalate the calls if you need to. And if you have problems, you can get a hold of us under the TSANet.org. And this new enhancements thing is this thing's, well, 2014. I guess I need to change my slide, don't I? Is this case exchange thing and these things that we're doing with custom groups and microsites and all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of things about TSANet that you can use, but it all revolves back around relationship management. Okay, and that is it.